This is Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast. We infuse, we energize, we inspire, and we empower entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs of all stripes in BW and beyond.
Kgengwenyane ke uparotsa melega kwano ke go introduce. Ke uparle mitela mo Mogobe as he comes forward. I will share with you his profile. Now I originally met him as the founder and CEO of Innolead, Botswana. When I started the podcast, Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast is one of the few people who was willing to take his valuable time and come and be part of the podcast. I think I've appeared with him 6 or 7 times. In addition to that, Kgengwenyane has been very active in terms of driving entrepreneurship, especially on the cutting edge side. And I've also had the pleasure of interviewing his son, who is a very brilliant young man. There's a clip that went viral on social media where he admitted, when I asked him, most people will not admit, or are you a multimillionaire at age 21? And he admitted, yes, I am. And he explained what he's doing with that money. And the fact that they've since partnered and grown their businesses is something that he will share with you now. But for today, I really wanted you to meet an entrepreneur who operates in the same ecosystem that you operate in. He's since started his own podcast. And I see that he was analyzing the budget. Is it last week? He was analyzing the budget as it came out. And a person of that caliber takes out of time from their busy schedule to come and share with you. So I want you to take notes. I want you to learn. And I would be very happy if at the end of whatever he has to share for us, you can ask him some questions. So, a thunderous round of applause. Ke honela bongwana ke ba rights ba batla go huma ba batla go tswelela nangatse ba batla go tswelela ba batla go bona dikgwebo tsa bona di phophoma ba batla go ipona ba hitheletse go gongwe ba gorogile ha nna le wena re leng teng gotsa e bile ba potile kakwa the floor is yours, sir.
Dilana magaetso allez-y sentle le tsogile e se le tsya ga go kwene ga tiji na iji sa tsogile nya tla batho go mole mathata go bokela ha gona le mo sa itseng se tswana ke tla nna ke tikela ka hale ka ke ba tswana hela kwana ha gona mo tswa ka kwana. Or maybe I should be asking in English, isn't it? So they can hear me. Anybody who doesn't understand Setswana and who's from outside Botswana? Okay. Anybody who wants to take a chance and tell me why the fact that there is nobody from outside Botswana is a problem? Are you entrepreneurs? Or you want to start, or you have ambitions or things like that? Tell me why it's a challenge when you have a bunch of entrepreneurs and there is someone not from outside. Take a chance. Why is it a problem? I want someone neutral. I don't want to see the same hands. Let me take Mega High. Emma, where I go with you, I got my own hell, I guess.
I think the chance that I would take is that we'll be talking about the importance of networking and building our network. So we want to do business across the board.
Okay. So he says because we are not able to network because there are other people not from. That's a good point. Any other point? He had a different one. Yeah.
Okay, I think on my end, the reason why it's kind of like a shock is because we are kind of used to people who are into business and entrepreneurship as being people from outside. And because of everyone so I'm kind of I'm tired because we have this narrative that but now
So what is the problem? What is the problem then?
the problem is now we don't tend to doubt what it is that we're going to sharing or whatever it is.
Okay, because it's only people from outside who are. Okay, the last point.
And in terms of location, like my house on like like some people please know from and they not from Nigeria. So if we don't have a foreign home, there will be limited knowledge here.
Say. Yeah, no, that's true. So then I would be. Okay, we talk about startup or entrepreneurial ecosystem. In other words, the entrepreneurs ya ka lona ba eleng gore they are aspiring or ba se ba entrepreneur di ra gore ba tswelle pele ebile go ngwana kongwe ba khona go nna di unicorn a ke le tse di unicorn again. Okay, khona go nna di unicorn ka ba khona gore ba e go mahatseng a sele. Who can tell me what is perhaps the best ecosystem for startup and entrepreneurship in the world? And ke boe ke tlo go buela go karabo nya lona. Ke wena wa kopisa mona wa tshara wena. It's a Silicon Valley again. That's the richest piece of real estate, if you may, in the world in terms of per capita, because that's where they have top-class entrepreneurs in the world. Where entrepreneurs, where angel investors, venture capitalists, good universities, and everything sits there in one place. And that's a very good fertile ground for entrepreneurs. And that is why you're in Silicon Valley. That is why Israel produces the highest startup values in the world. In 2013, there was a company that was started by an entrepreneur in Israel. The company is called Waze. It's into mobility, and it was bought by Google for $1.3 billion. Because the ecosystem there, Israel's got one of the top universities in the world. They invite also people around the world. They learn there different languages. So that is why it's also thriving. And that is why because they are like cloned. We all went through the same primary school, same syllabus, same teachers, go TTC, that's a problem for startup. That's a problem for entrepreneurs. So if you want to thrive as an entrepreneur, meet and join people with different minds. Because that's how you get innovation and creativity. That is why your land here in Botswana is not one of the most creative and innovative in the world. I see a lot of young people. So I get it's a Sunday, also very intense, about 50. Again, so that is the spirit this morning. So good people, our country here, Botswana, is not doing very well. We've been dependent on diamonds, and diamonds are finishing. They are finishing. Rabon. No, if you guys don't wake up, because the richest countries in the world are the ones with the highest concentration of good entrepreneurs. You've been taught by one of the best. So if you want to grow an economy or an ecosystem, you create entrepreneurs. What is an entrepreneur? Talk to me. What is an entrepreneur? Just try to about hell. There are no wrong answers. Would you combine different factors of production? Okay, anybody else? Hey, we gotta go to
someone who is willing to take on risks that other people are willing to take on.
Cool. Last one. Last one. Sidi, what's our chance? Ari. Risk takers. Okay, there is a definition by a French chap called John Baptiste. When an entrepreneur are people who take a thing or a system from one level of productivity to the next level of productivity. Or as they say, it is to people that can create a new venture. And this country and Africa needs no venture. I'm starting this presentation by motivating because this is one of the most beautiful and necessary sessions in this land of ours. So how to get about Remo Mogobe ba bangwe they are doing a really awesome job. Ne le nkopela mabogo khantile ba tikopa lo pele reo mabogo. Rewa le khotha. Ka gore betso. Ya kana ke bua khantile ha tsele go step yano. La bon. And then I'm taking notes from what you just said. Santa, if you want innovation and do things differently, we need to look to life beyond diamonds. Otherwise, and then, we need to promote entrepreneurship to come. And so the fact that you invested your Sunday morning coming here, it's extremely important for this country. These are the type of people. You are the presidential honors. It's the bureaucrats, the minister. Hey, what about things? But we're going to talk about what is a good, true entrepreneur in this. Good entrepreneurs ignore and stay away from bureaucracy. That's why bureaucracy is going to be self-funding and self-creating, and then we're able to grow in that ecosystem. So it's very, very important. So for economy, if you guys don't wake up, some of us, we are traveling the road. The road doesn't end. Ron Aguaga, who's my mentor, go Canada, Red, Dan Sullivan, he was 80, by the way, last year, 80 years old. And he has 25-year plans, and he plans to die by 156 years old. When I joined the coaching program, which is based in Toronto, Canada, the first question they ask entrepreneurs is, when do you plan to die? Hey, because, I don't know what I'm supposed to, so what's the point? Remo, I can give you a goal, and you're ambitious. So, you can an entrepreneur next 50 years and become a unicorn. You have to be prepared to live long. Can I get about 2 years? But the fact is, I enjoy life so much, I want to live very long because I've got so much to contribute. Hallelujah. Hey guys, entrepreneurs are happy people. There are people that want to live because they want to add value. Now let me define what a true entrepreneur is, so that they check alone. Before I give you what percentage of the world comprises true entrepreneurs? Get a check it out. Guys, if you don't read, that's a problem. But anyway, that's a chat for another day. What percentage of the world are true entrepreneurs? 1%, I hear 1%. Going 1% at the back, to my left. The leftist in the house? 2%. The rightist, the right wing has baha trampula renlona. 2%? Okay, it's 5%. So, babango railita, but we won't be true entrepreneurs. That's why they're those that they call tenderpreneurs. Entrepreneurs. So let's come to this definition of what true entrepreneur is. There are two questions that you have to answer well for you to qualify to become a true entrepreneur. The first question is if you want to become a true entrepreneur, you should be desiring to become economically self-sufficient. You should not rely on anybody for your economic security. Silence in court. Silence in court. You should be good out and hella. Gompieno na bua ka ngwana ke o bua Mompoloki Kgengwenyane. Some of you will see him on the social channels who's ke ene bana ka ba tshwane. So ene ke ena kopileng thata in terms of having seen me, because I have always believed that I don't want to rely on anybody for my sufficiency. Ke tla itshegela tsela ya me e leng gore le borotho jo go bo rekang ke tla be ke bo ipatletse. I cannot blame Agoromente, I cannot blame Ope, that is why at Alego University, about university side hustle, because then he started the business at Alego University. Okay, so that is the principle. So that's the first question. The second question you have to ask yourself is, you got to be prepared. Before you have any opportunity, there has to be a clear value that you've added to society. That one. But not by tender. We do la tender that project that thing is useless. And I like to be a heads about you. But for you to be a true entrepreneur, whatever you do, the opportunity to be paid or any other opportunities, you got to make sure that you have added value to something. Let me give you examples of, and I remember we've got many examples. I'll give you examples Innolead, because company is saying focuses, we are a consulting firm. We focus on project management and strategy. We strategize organizations so that they can be able to navigate and compete for the future. And we've worked with large organizations like Botswana, even Oabona, we've helped them. We've worked with Bifira, we've worked with Bosida, we've worked with all sorts of organizations in Botswana, Blue Chip, Botswana Stock Exchange, we help them. Let me give you an example of where we've been blamed. There is currently a mobile phone company that's currently dominating the market, and it's grew phenomenally in the last 6-7 years. Yes, that company is because of the work that we did with them in terms of strategizing. When I lay company tona ya di mine e le gore motswara ke yone company di hetang tsotlhe mo Botswana. Initially, I'm an engineer by profession, so a company, I focused on those things that are not too far from what I'm qualified, what I've done, to be safe in Yanakir. So we go manage projects. Like the engineers, you do projects. You build systems, we build plans, we build whatever. So we let me sort out Botswana's project management landscape. So you're in a company, so the first thing I did is to work with them to improve their project management system. Company the team, they are dominated by people that we've built at Innolead. The good thing is they also used our systems and our process. We built their project management systems over time. So this is the value. I'm showing you the value. Now this is what makes me sleep well at night. I have added value. When those companies are growing, they are employing people, they are paying taxes, so that we can build another school. Then being 100 years old, society, I added value. That is an entrepreneur. That is an entrepreneur. And I'm saying these things because we put away karaba. There are a lot of things that I can talk about, and hopefully we'll carry on collaborating. If you want to join this trip, entrepreneurship, just know that the country needs this badly. It's not even badly, it's desperately. So if they want to build this country truly, these are the things that should be promoted. They have started the frontiers of growing entrepreneurship, because I can tell you now, this country will not get anywhere. And then Lona, as individuals who have sacrificed your Sunday and you keep sacrificing your Sundays, we are very happy to help you, to equip you, because if you don't equip yourself, you'll not be able to succeed. Remo? Okay. Now let me talk to your psychosocial self, because that's another important factor for you to become a really, really good entrepreneur. Ke tshwere kgantele a little bit ha ke bua ka gore ha re simolla go this program go simolla ba re coach ba simolla re botsa gore mme gone hela go phelelong o batla go nna ngwaga tse kae mo botshelong jo. And it's not just a question of your physiology or it's actually a psychological thing. When I know I'm going to live up to 120, what does that do to you? Yeah, more. Hey, we test the HIV/AIDS. That's not positive. What is the feeling? I want to maintain this baby. Again, I want to protect my negativity. Again. So that is the essence of these things. When you know what I'm going to live long, then you look after yourself. Hagiriana. Just give you an example in terms of myself, because I've always believed you have to be a happy soul for you to be able to work with people, to cheer up other people, to influence other people, to build relationships, and those things that are essential for a good entrepreneur. First of all, you need good sleep. You cannot function well unless you don't sleep. Yeah? So it's guys, there's this fashionable thing that when you work your butt out stressfully, it will take you to the grave very early. If you listen to all the podcasts, there are the chap who started Airbnb. He'll tell you how depressed, how he lost friends. Some of them got sick. Even about Tony Robinson, they got sick. So, the new entrepreneurs or the ones that come, you don't have to go through what some of us went through. Some of us, when you went through so much bad because it was fashionable, that you actually now got diseases that are staying with you. So, the body can only take so much. So it's important that you invest in your body, soul, and spirits, whether spiritual, whether physical, whether emotional, whatever, to make sure that you are a holistic, full people. The beauty about this program in Canada was that the program looks at life holistically. We even look at the happiness and the time that you spend in terms of your whole time, by the entrepreneurial time system. Or how do you divide your time in the week? If you are a spiritual person, you go to say, you can't put it aside, because it's an important part of who you are and making you the best. If you are a person that wants to keep physically healthy and you don't want to get diseases, you got to look after your temple. You got to, I make sure that I do 15 minutes of exercise. So I do sit-ups, I do push-ups, and I do stretches, because stretches are very important for balance. A lot of old people die because they fall, and statistics says that then they die very early because they fell. So physically, this program in Canada, strategic coach program, when I'm there, the guys, it's very rare to see someone under them kamba. Guys are cycling, guys are running, guys are gym, because it's important for these are the guys that are doing multi-million dollars, some are in the billion front, because they look after their temple. Okay? So in Nigeria, it's very important. So the first thing you got to look at what they call your future self. In other words, how do you put that? There are different types of selves. There's your past self, there's your present self, and there's your future self. And you go to analyze those and see where do you fit. The past self are those people that are driven by past events. We do things this way. This is the only way we should be doing things that are stuck in the past. And then there are people who live in the present. Those are the people that are borrowing from the past and they borrow from the present. But I want to focus on the future self. The future self are people that have futuristic goals and they want to make things happen. They are motivated by the future. So you got to be clear. That's why I read Dan Sullivan. He's got a 25-year plan. And then you work backwards from 25. You go to 10. You go to 3. You go to 1. And then you go to quarterly, 90 days. At Coach, at this program, we operate on 90-day basis. And every 90 days, we come together and we scrutinize whether our plans in 90 days have worked. And that 90 days is not only entrepreneurship activities, it's also what did you do to rejuvenate yourself? You know, Bo, I went with my family to a holiday. Bo, I went on my solitude trip. I agree with you, solitude. But so that is very, very important. Once you positioned your future, what I want to be this being in 10 years, in 25 years, and think long term. Guys, time passes so quickly. Have you hit 45 over here? Can't you achieve it? It's because how little 20 you didn't do a 25-year plan. You got it. And the thing about having those plans, they are really motivating. I'm 55. Hakira 25 go 8. I mean, Dan, and then my coach, he's 80. He's doing very well. There are two types of ages. What they call the biological age, and there's also an age where everyone chronological age. And then Red Sullivan, Lahal 8. His biological age is in the 60s. In other words, his tissues, his heart are pumping like a 60-year-old. Because he has invested in that. That is why he might just reach 156 years. But he's invested. He invested in it every week, every month. There's a 90-day plan for him to say, how do I exercise? How do I rejuvenate? It's all in the plans. Okay, because I have a weekly plan. Every day, Monday is my planning day. Every Thursday, I don't work. Everybody gets shocked. Since 2015, since you're programming. Because I know myself, I'm a potential workaholic. Because I've been before. So I knew what Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'll collapse. So I decided that Thursday is my rejuvenation day. Rejuvenation means you detach yourself from work. You do things, you date your kids, you date your wife or your girlfriend, you go for a massage, you go for a run, you read your favorite book, which is not to do with what you do every day. Because I'm running. Hey, that's hard. So these are the things that inspires and make you live positively. Huh? So Pakela, I wake up, I do exercise. Then some of you who listen to my podcast, the Growth World podcast, I'm in a campaign to get people to do cold showers. And then you do a cold shower. A cold shower is so powerful in giving you the oomph for the day. A cold shower, there is but biologically, don't go sharp. So if you have a cold shower, guys, it's called hormesis. These are stresses that make your system stronger. When you exercise, you are stressing your body. When you pump weights, I don't know what about pumping weights here, you are stressing your muscles and they become stronger. When you jump into a cold bath or you take a cold shower, the body doesn't like it. It gets stressed and it pumps up positive juices called dopamines. What is dopamine in Fanagate? Eh? What else can you call? Dopamines are positive neurotransmitters or hormones that get you into a good mood. Like one, there are different types of hormones. Dopamine, serotonin, and all those. There are different types, even negative ones like cortisol and stuff like that. Different, but I'm talking about my morning. So that cold shower does that trick. Okay, so a cold shower or exposing your body to sudden cold is proven. This is something that goes 2,500 years ago. People like philosophers like Bo Epicurus have been doing, even people like, they've been doing these cold showers for a very long time. In Eastern Europe, or even in Europe or Finland, they jump into ice cold pools. Labon, to rejuvenate. Like 1 hour we need to involve other people. So that is the spirit. So after the cold shower, Then I take a book. I still have coffee. I only have 1 cup of coffee in a day. So that's my morning coffee. Then I go into the garden. Then I sit. The first 10 minutes is coffee and me. The process of meditation, baby. Meditate. You can meditate too. Meditation is giving yourself peace and take it on. And it's one of the most powerful and something that we don't do much because we are rushing and rushing. So you just can't remember I had a cold shower, hopefully a good 8-hour sleep. These days, I have no excuse. I make sure by 10:30 I've gone to bed so that I can have a good 8-hour sleep. Because sleep is the mother of all. Sleep and exercise. I can talk about health as well. Why those are so essential for your well-being. So good sleep, cold shower, cup of coffee. If you don't want the thing, whatever drink you want. You want a green tea or 5 roses, or whatever you want, have that one. After the 10 minutes, then I grab a book. Then I always read 15 minutes in the morning before I start my activities. After admiring the birds and the marukuru trees and the beauty of Botswana, then I read the book. So my books are always nearby. So I grab any book that I want to I feel like that day, either on health, either on happiness, either on technology, on entrepreneurship, there are all sorts of stuff, or philosophy, because for the last 5 years, I've also dug deep into philosophy. None of my engineer do science, but never stimulated you, philosophy. Hey, you know, I mean, the subjects are just amazing. I mean, that's another thing you have to know yourself. What I'm so inquisitive about learning is so exciting. That's why now I was invited to analyze the budget. I'm not an economist. But if you read widely about the history of economics, you don't need to go to a class. These are things that you can teach, but you got to make time. So after the reading a book, then I can start the day in terms of whatever the day it is. Like I said, on Mondays, I've divided my time. On Mondays is a planning day. Nothing to do with performance at work in terms of reports, which is what we do, or meetings with clients, is to do with planning my week. So Monday is like that. And then Tuesday and Wednesday, you call it a performance day, or what they call a focus day. You focus on profitable activities, like writing a report to a client, engaging a client, or visiting a client, or whatever. Those are Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday, then I don't do any work. Friday is a day where I meet. Talk about networking relationships. That's when I go, where I meet different people just to chat. You know, we call them at Coach a center of influence people. People that when you talk to, they can open your horizons. Remember, it doesn't have to be an immediate client. It could be somebody else who knows somebody else who knows somebody else. Remember, so it's a light day on Friday where I have those meetings where over coffee. You don't lobby enough. You don't have enough coffees. Just let's chat. No agenda. Just chat because you have to strike a rapport before like I say data. Hey, I get bana ba fera banyana ba itso na ba ira yang. Ha kwa simula hore hey ka thanda kana ngwanusa. Hey o santse o simula o di bepele. Hey no ha di kopa tseng go lopsek ke tsena go lopsek. Kopa tseng go lopsek no gona go banyana le ba simana ba kopana nteng no go bua go Ellis Park. Re kopana teng so na go ngwe I want to talk about myself ba nekele ho bona ba bangwe yana. So go lo ba tsa ke ke mapantsula. So mthakanya no ntse a ke re wa ke ba golohela so mthako wa le pantsula ntse o na le o fera ngwanusa so o nna yana ke go bantleng o nna yana ke bona o lebella o ya le ngwanyana ntse re yana ke tshakala ka bona ga ana ma go ntse re mara government o tshela di kontiri mara tsia ke sula le nna ke next door ke re ka tshakala ka tsa di kontiri la re bere ke sa bommela bona. So ba bua ba kana le ka ba tlhokomologa kgantela ke a bona ngwanusa le ene wa borega ya no ntse a nkgala wa nyela ka so a bona gore nyayo ha ke bone go le gompieko go setsa ba bone mosadi. So it's very important if you want to create relationships, be tactical and make sure that you create time. So that's my week. So I have a weekly planner that every Monday I do. I even plan my rejuvenation day, or on that day, what am I going to do? I realize, hey, the one thing that I found out about Oabona Kgengwenyane, they take their holidays. I go there every quarter. Every time I get to Nagwampola, hey, Nakido get the family, or Nakida get the Rizala, it's never night and say, Elokobi, you hella, go be channel and take up. So it's very important to take it. When I celebrate you, the Zanzibar, you need to detaching, reset, and you become the clarity and the new thinking. What's going on? That's why some of us are Barta Miraca. That's one thing. That's why I like. I've got businesses that are doing a lot of intelligent work, which is consulting and technology, digital hire. I see CD there. CD works for digital hire. We have digital hire. Then we have farms, because farming attaches you to nature. I mean, I have the best sleep ever. Because my Ziwanyana, rena hamulong when I'm we do American time shongwen. In hamulong, ugura wana hamulong, kana hamulong when I remote. Kabo 7:30. Hamulong. You know, kita beju ham sadia so ya kukunya la bila ka thape me na kira ne ke ba ke monna hala ke ko murake. Ka su mo boroko. Ugura wana o so mo bola u ka gore totaki. Because it's quiet, it's dark, because there are a lot of pollutants in the city. There are pollutants, contaminants. You know, that disturbs your sleep. And Botswana is blessed with such nature and quiet places. That is why, so in other words, the lesson there is that you got to hack the system. Company attached to the earth. I jog there, you know, there's nothing like jogging in the bush. You know, I've got a video and I jog I'm so king. But it's but that's Botswana. So that is how I hack. So in terms of the time system, it's very important. The last thing that I want to talk about is apart from the time system is the 4 freedoms. Entrepreneurs want to be free, you know, and freedom, baby. Yeah. And that is why I worked for a corporate. I was sponsored by Botswana, because then I read the science. After that, I got no direct to a hell. So I got a scholarship, so there's a mining, we give you a mining. Hands give a go mining, man. More so when I to Kuala so change us look at the north as 1 and 6 months. Kabonale manager, general manager, Bonale MD ko Kaburun. I'm going to die young. So we give Copel. I'm cutting the whole story short. So we give Copel. That's how I broke from. So you got to be able to have the guts. They call it, breaking a norm that a lot of people suffer from. Okay, so you got to, entrepreneurs have this habit of making very difficult decisions. So a lot of my colleagues were surprised that how can you, the best paying employer in town, another company car, including in another 4 bedrooms, I can get a manager. Meto ate mwana onali difenya na maboama titi you know, people that how can you guys such luxuries? No. The term that we use in entrepreneurs is breaking the mold. Why I truly fitted the profile of entrepreneur. I see, but in my life, I had made decisions that were against the grain. Entrepreneurs, they can't stand something, you jump, you make a decision. So I made the decision to say, even if this is high paying, but I was ready for a long time, but I'm going to leave because the future is mine, because I had planned my future. And my future had aspect of freedom. Remember, I don't want my life to be restricted by others. Okay? So that's how I left, and I started now going into starting the business, the struggles of entrepreneurs, of startup, and so forth, till I got where I am. So there are 4 freedoms that you need to. Okay, there are 4 freedoms. The first freedom is freedom of time. Is freedom of time. The second freedom is freedom of money. A true entrepreneur needs to be free of money, because otherwise, onna le kgolegwa la batho ba bangwe ka gore o batla madi, which unfortunately lots of our people are imprisoned by bureaucracy. Ba gana go tswa ba re ke tla tsaya ka sekolo fees. The other freedom is freedom of relationships. You want to be associated with people that you want to associate with. The last one is freedom of purpose. Who's read a book called Man's Search for Meaning? Who's read a book? Is one. I'll keep mentioning books that I think everybody should have read. Okay, it's written by a gentleman called Viktor Frankl. He was jailed. Well, he was in the Nazi camps there where he almost died, spent 4 years, and he survived. He believed he survived because of purpose. Because he says you always have a choice whether a system is going to kill you or you remain positive, because he was future-based. So that Viktor Frankl, for those that want to remember. So purpose is extremely important. If you live life without a purpose, a lot of the stuff that you want will not have a base. So I go, what's your purpose in life? You got to be able to say so. Okay? So let's start at the top. Freedom of time. Guys, part of why I left corporate is because I wanted to control my time. I wanted my time to be spent on things that I like. I wanted my time to spend on things that are aligned to what I call unique ability, my God-given talents. It's sad. People are doing things they don't like. For year 1, for year 2, for year 3. But unfortunately, but freedom of time is extremely important. Those are entrepreneurs, because you want to be able to fly to Hong Kong if you want to, because there's a relationship or partnership you want to negotiate without having to tell anybody. Well, so freedom of time. The other one is freedom of money. Once you start your business, like Ronako Kgengwenyane, when he started, we had the initial struggles where, you don't have pay for about 7 months because you are funding the business and the struggles carry on. But over time, if you've got the right idea, you've got the right relationships, then business starts going. Then you start having freedom of money. And that is why, because of freedom of money, I could enroll on a coaching program in Canada that we pay in dollars. Since 2015, I only took a break last year. Since 2015, every quarter, I flew to Canada to attend this coaching program because I enjoyed it, because I was in the midst of other entrepreneurs discussing Well, but anyway, they had a lot more millions of dollars than me, but who cares? Who cares? We were talking the same language. You know what was annoying is because of environment, these guys are things must be happening, Botswana must be and then when you look at our revenues, is miles apart, because those guys, some of them are turning over 300 million, some $700 million. But it's just because we are in different lands. But that's my choice to stay in Botswana. Okay? So I go there. I met Dan Sullivan, which is arguably the topmost entrepreneurial coach in the world. She's coached over 60,000 entrepreneurs since the 1980s. Top people. Both Peter Diamandis, both Tony Robbins, if you know those type of people, those are the people that have brushed with Dan Sullivan. So it's important that I have now, through that network, I have guys I connect with in London, because guys come up from all over the world. So I have connections with guys in the States and all that. So I have relationships that will never have been there. Last year, I brought a guy called Salim, who comes from Silicon Valley to help a client, which is Botswana, to try to look at that technology. I could not have brought Salim had I not attended that program. So freedom of relationships. You can't have freedom of relationships if you don't have the money. Yes. Remember, I had to fly there. And I needed to have the money and the time. Okay? So freedom of time, freedom of money, freedom of relationships. The last one is freedom of purpose. There's nothing as liberating as driving your own self-purpose. But first, you got to define your purpose. They say people with a sense of purpose live 7 years longer than people without a purpose. So how about make sure that you have a clear written purpose statement. And the purpose can evolve over time. Right now, just to talk about a practical example of mine, I had Innolead, and then as the years go by, it evolves because now I want to make more impact at Africa and global world. So my purpose is to make positive impacts to Africa and the world through insights and ideas, because that's my strength. I read too much. I'm inquisitive. I find out. So I'm enjoying it. That's why through influence about the pioneers, now able to do a podcast. I'm busy writing a book, which is also written a book. It should be launched to us end of February, March. So a book and all these type of things are part of my new purpose. And we're also going into Africa. More speaking assignments globally, so that I can make more impact in terms of the subject matter. That's why I speak more these days. That one. So, and because of the wisdom, because 25 years of consulting, you learn so much. And people just want to learn, share. And this is the benefits that a lot of people get from our podcast. They say there's such insights in terms of some of the learnings that are out there in the world. So those are the 4 freedoms. Richard again. Okay, so it's very important that you underscore. And then my last thing that I want to talk about, good people, is definition of entrepreneur, and talking about the decisions that you have to make. And I want to make 2 points which are highly important for you to make sure that you become a really value-adding entrepreneur. I talked about you got to make a choice that you are economically independent. Just like Remo. Isn't that beautiful? It's beautiful. So, if that's not inspiring, then nothing else will inspire you. So it's very important that if you make that economic independence, you do not become dependent on the system. Could you give a context here, Botswana? Because guys get dependent on the bureaucratic system like Horomente and all that. Bakulutu are saying me. Some of you are very young people. Young people have say, hey, you're wasting your life. The day is just passed on the life is yours. It's your life. Take charge. So it's very important to shave away the dependency on the bureaucratic system, relying on it. Even where I worked, I knew what now I'm not dependent on the system. I got to struggle and pay for my own kids. Hey, so you got to take charge of your life. And then the sense of entitlement. Oh man, this is going to kill this country. Youth fund that doesn't get repaid, and many other things. So the system in Botswana actually destroys entrepreneurship spirit by creating a sense of entitlement and dependency in you. So take charge of your life and shave off. It might take 2-3 years to shave off, but start the process of shaving off, because a lot of you are young here. You still have time on your side. Do that 25-year plan. Once you do a 25-year plan, you don't realize, but how they call it scarcity versus abundant mindset. You feel but when you have time and future-based self, you got an abundant mind, because the world now is really ripe for entrepreneurs. Technology is available. AI is here. What they call exponential organization. They allow you not to grow linear. They allow you to grow exponentially. That's why we call about 10xing your business. So 10x your startup. You can, because of AI, because of drones, because of all these algorithms, machine learning, deep learning, all that, because of quantum computing, because of many nanotechnology, learn about these exponential organizations because they can accelerate you more than when we started. They were not there. They have been democratized, these technologies. Democratized, they are available for you. You know, who participates, who's got an AI assistant? Oh, that's a problem. Because guys, when you are doing a startup or running something, you can save 20 to 25% of your time when you use AI. So if you are not using it, then you are denying yourself an opportunity to 10x whatever business or startup that you want to do. So AI, information has been democratized. You ask, you go into LinkedIn. So stop, it's all about, hey, motsamayi, hey, masisi urile, hey, if you get, I've reduced my time in watching news because news will steal your time. So I see Botswana you are not going to become an entrepreneur if you're obsessed with what Motsamayi or Dumaboko is saying. Work on your business, baby. Work on your business. Find out how it's did, find out how I do it. Ask for literature, search, go to the right channels in the internet. Even when you watch your movies in the evening, stop watching series. Watch valuable documentaries. Watch podcasts. I mean, it's so free. You can watch the guys that started a business in Chicago right now. It's free information. And you're not using it because you are busy watching Muvango. Hey, every time I say Muvango, but you are showing off your age. Can't ask for anything. Is that anything? Taka. Okay. Yeah. So guys, I want to conclude here so that I can allow for questions and answers. But this is really what I wanted to share with you. I really focused on the fundamentals. So that are you a true entrepreneur? Are you ready to do what's required? Are you ready for the freedom? Are you ready to shave yourself from entitlements? But Botswana, temo that horomen tempepeo ha go man das nam papeo horomen teti sa trekere kandele hey ya no horomen ta ha to ntlagolela. I mean, good people. Remo, no, it's so bad. I mean, I've got there's something I'll talk about next time, which is the process of when you grow your business. This is the next. We'll talk about now how do you scale your business to 10x. Some of those areas. So one of the things that I did with the farm, you can imagine when you got 2 farms, you got about 1,000 cattle. I can't manage that. So what you do, you look for an expert who knows how to manage cattle and report to me, because I can take months to get again. There is somebody there looking after the cattle. So actually, here this guy, he's got a degree in agriculture, worked in Namibia and Saudi Arabia. So our one of our farms, Eco Senfeld. So our time I'm telling, because barata table. So why are people not de-weeding? But who cares? He was excited when so he was getting really excited about Temo. But why are they not? I see all of them. Nobody's de-weeding. How are you going to get yields? How are you going to get yields? How are you going to get 8 tons per hectare, which is required for a good maize crop? And that is why the average in Botswana, by the way, is 0.5 tons per hectare. It's poor. Money into the soil. So you need to campaign because an ecosystem. And then entrepreneurs can thrive, and then we can take Botswana to the next level, and hopefully we can become a high-income country. Let's take some questions, Q&A. You ain't on night, there is a pilly. We have about.
I can do it. Tata puja wana gore lagu ka ora vecho mo politiki in puja lo ka sport le entrepreneurship kasi na ne kicho ni mali ngo kana bona watu ba kupiga mbali kibona lata ya kudira menao eno hore mo as entrepreneurs tsanza fana gore ne ratsane.
Good point. Because I think it was Aristotle. Somebody knows Aristotle? Aristotle? What? 2,500 years ago. Aristotle na there is politics in everyone. So that's why I agree with you. If you are a person who is aware of things, you got to be aware of what's going on. So I'm not saying don't be aware of what's happening. I talk to ministers. I talk to it's a political. So that's grow entrepreneurship ecosystem. It's political. I get it. But what I have a problem with is when now the pendulum. When you spend so much time, how we are about to, hey, Bokoyan, Baratile, Haribone, Tanda, Baram, Salama, and then a poster, or actually your way preoccupies your time. That's why I need all of us to become activists politically on the entrepreneurial phase. They put more money into startups, and I'm campaigning right now to develop a Botswana startup ecosystem. That's what I was presenting with at Parliament. I said, Botswana tech startup will be the only one that can provide a post-diamond economy for Botswana. So, partly, I'm campaigning. Yes. So, I'm not saying don't be aware of what's going on and don't not be active in things that will improve your lives. Good. Next one. Okay,
Thank you very much. Thank you for walking us up. I'm just at an age where I'm thinking I should leave, because every day I go to work, I feel I should be going the other way. But I'm thinking, how do I deal with this anxiety which I'm having? I write this down. As you speak, I'm seeing I'm on the right track, but anxiety is just gripping me like that. I don't know how to take a step into retirement. I think I have a problem with that one. I need an emergent solution. Thank you.
Did you mention retirement? Yes. Guys, in the entrepreneurial world, there is no such word as retirement. Retirement kills. So that's another subject. But you get out of retirement because you got a purpose, you got a 25-year plan. Where do you get a chance to retire from life? And statistics are there where when you retire, actually, you die earlier. Yeah, so just to tell you, I think the essence of your question is, where are you working? You're working?
I'm in the government.
Oh, you're working for bureaucracy. Oh, shame. So, guys, I'll be very harsh because you got to face reality. Harsh in terms of, remember we talked about the 5%? In other words, entrepreneurs are stoic about what they want. Remember, I resigned from where I was getting a lot more money than you. And I was even younger, and I decided to quit. So you got to learn how to quit. Even in partnerships, sometimes you grow a company with somebody, it gets a chance where your values are not together, and you got to quit. A lot of these guys, super guys, whenever Buffett, there was a time in their life where they had to quit. You quit something. You quit bureaucracy so that you create a new life for yourself. It's interesting. So the ball is in your court. That's the sad news. But you got to know what you want in terms of your sense of purpose. How bad do you need this freedom? I mean, guys, people, I really see people dying in offices. I mean, it's so sad. Like I'm a consultant. So, le ha re di workshop tsa strategy ba re a share yo ke o khorometsa hela gore tsatsi le phirime. I mean, what a waste of life. What a waste of life. It's almost criminal for you to be doing something that you rather not be doing. So that's the harsh reality. You got to introspect. read, because partly when you read, one of my influencers, when I left Botswana, was a book I read again. I started young. So there was a book in it. The title was Define Your Destiny or Someone Else Will. We said, define your destiny or someone else will. So that's a choice, baby. So I decided, but for such a long time, I'm going to make my own choice. And that's how I resigned. I left. Okay? So that's the short end of it. If you want to talk about it on the side for advice, for coaching, but read about the subjects, have your 4 freedoms, have your purpose statement, clarify your life. Your future-based self. Remember I talked about past, present, future. How do you see your future self? And define it. Because when it's exciting enough, in strategy, we talk about creative tension. Create the tension between the future and the now. Tension because you've defined your future. You know? So if you are 50 now, and you say, by the time I'm 75, I want to be dada. How do you find you're 75? I need to be okay. Okay, good. Next question. Okay.
Sir, since you have an experience in the consultancy field, for me as a student, approaching my final year student, I'm more into study a consultancy firm in supply chain analytics. So I wanted to know, for me to start something like that, should I first go into the work field, or I can venture direct into study a company or slash my YouTube?
Just repeat it. Where do you want clarity? You are doing your final year, I guess.
Yes, sir.
And
so I wanted to know if I want to start a consultancy firm.
Okay.
Do I have to work first or to gain experience, or can I just go into studying it and focusing on it?
Okay, good. Yeah. His question is, he wants to start a consultancy firm. Is it a good idea to start first working for someone and then starting later, or you can start now? Again, there are a lot of variables there. For instance, there are people that have started a business that they totally have no experience. But like I said, information has been democratized. So you can get, right now, even on the side, you can get if you want, let's say you want to start a software company, and you read about software because you want to really go into software consultancy. There are very, very cheap consultants from India who can develop software for you. At a very, very cheap price. Whether it's data science or whether it's coding engineers or whatever. So what you do is you package, you go get a loan or startup funding, whatever, for your startup, and you get going, and they see that you got people that can do the work, they've got experience. So you don't necessarily have to have knowledge of the work, as long as you like it though. It's something that has to really tick you. So that's an option that you can start still while you're university. Or like me, the fact that I worked for 5-6 years was very valuable in learning the operations of a business, how to manage. Also, that company, it was very good in training. So we did a lot of management courses, a lot of business courses. So that really, because I was an engineer, so I didn't know much about business management and leadership and operations and marketing and all those. So the courses helped me a lot in that. So I have to be fair. I benefited from working a bit and then jumping into starting a company. Okay, so they are helpful. But like I said, it's not really either or. It's how you structure your startup if you want to start it while you are still. There are people that are still working and their businesses are operating. We gave an example of my son, Monty. He was doing his second year when his business was already operating. And the thing is, just to give a difference, the difference in the UK is that, and he always says, he never had to walk into a bank. He never had to walk to SIPA everything is all digital. You know? And then FNB. I mean, that's why this is the ecosystem that we have to work on. Okay, good. Next one. Era?
Afternoon. You mentioned shaving entitlement, and I just wanted to find out if that is maybe realistic in the Botswana context, where maybe we are a low-income earning economy. So as a prospective entrepreneur, you're earning, let's say, between 1.5 and 2,000 as a student, right? So where do you look, and is that realistic if we have nowhere else to go besides government or the entrepreneurial ecosystems that you guys are now trying to establish?
Guys, this one, because an entrepreneur is all about the idea. Remember, you got angel investors, you got venture capitalists. They want to come to Botswana to chase. There is enough money looking for ideas. So don't use funding as an excuse. And stop just looking at Botswana. We are too internally looking. Stop just looking at Botswana. Zambia is looking for entrepreneurs. It doesn't care where they get them from. Cape Town is looking for entrepreneurs. It doesn't care. Actually, some Botswana have relocated to Cape Town because our ecosystem is better there. In other words, there's a better chance of getting funding. And you can start a company quickly and start running it just on the platform. Okay, low cost, zero cost type company. So what I'm saying is, it's if you are really determined and stoic about what you want to achieve, you can still shave yourself off and get funding for an idea. The main thing is, do you have a good idea? Which is what the angel investors are looking for. If the idea is good and it's funky, and they say, hey, just 2.5 go UB. Cool. Next one. Let's take two more and then we round it up. Emma?
Thank you. I've heard over a campaign in the ecosystem. So, okay. How can we engage with you for a in that campaign? Change your mindset for most of the time I think for my internship, by the way. So internship. So what I was hoping to have that mindset.
Yes,
there are strategies. So what I'm expecting to mental campaign, but so we need to change that mindset is good. So how can we engage for in that sort of campaign?
Okay, it's a very long-term campaign, and I'm not too sure about your structure here, but otherwise, what I'm practically doing right now is that we are inviting a company based in Europe, Global Startup Awards, which has got an office in Cape Town. We're talking to BDIH to start a huge startup awards campaign in Botswana. To people to come with ideas, and the ideas get funding. So this company's got access to funding. Just to boost the ecosystem. Another initiative which I'm involved with, there is a company, one of the big global startups, Techstar. It's coming in March, end of March, 28th of March. They are doing, I think it's 2 days of conferencing in Botswana, where I think it's free, where they are again coming here to coach and mentor and create awareness around startups and ideas. So the main thing is that you got to, as entrepreneurs and potential, you got to involve in all those initiatives. I know also the Ministry of Entrepreneurship, they are, it was mentioned by the Vice President at the speech, where they've engaged MIT, University of Massachusetts in the States, to partner with the ministry to develop an entrepreneurship development program in Botswana. I hope, again, re teng as a group or whatever, so that we can also participate and runga maunga thing or whatever they're doing. So yeah, so that's really what I'm practically involved with right now. But in terms of ideas of what else we can do, we got all the brains here, so you guys can think as well freely. But what can we do as the upcoming entrepreneurial community with a difference? This is Nyamalo, and then we engage government collectively, because so if they can just give us 2 billion of it, we'll make a big difference. Yeah, because we're going to create jobs. You know, I can comment about 400,000 jobs. We will create jobs, and we'll create wealth, and the GDP can grow and so forth. Okay, next one. Last one. Okay, Era.
2 more.
Oh, 2 more. Okay.
So I heard you talking about raising 1,000 cattle. So one thing that I know about farming is that you need to strategically plan for that. It isn't something that you can just wake up and it can happen. So I wanted to know, how do you graze? How do you feed them? How do you plan for the drought? And also your selling. Do you sell studs or do you sell winners?
Okay, very direct question, eh? We actually, the latest podcasts, we had an agricultural series. Some of you who know Dr. Sinto, who is a vet who works with a lot of farmers, he actually unravels all these things on the podcast, Growth Well podcast. Dr. Sinto. Hey, what do I?
Mike.
Hey, Mike. Dr. Mike Sinto. And then who else did we? And then we talked to who has also been in Remo Mogobe's podcast, the land master, Gilbert Sisinyi. We also had him on the podcast. He talked about agriculture and land, being able to title land and all those things around agriculture. So you get a lot of insights from there, from the podcast, in terms of more detail, because how do we feed, how do we do this? But otherwise, my journey with farming started in 2008. 2009, that's when I felt I was ready to do farming. And that's how, we started with 100 cattle, started scaling, one farm in Sandveld and then another farm scale, because I was looking at where is the break-even point, when is the time when you can actually make money from farming, because a lot of people waste money in farming. Well, family money, school fees, without actually looking at whether it's adding value to the family, or if it's a business, to the business itself, in terms of return on investment. That's very, very critical. Especially, as you said, there's drought that keeps hitting. Right now, those are type of things that you've got to be prepared for. That's why now we've asked for land that you're going to be growing crops to feed the animals. Just like they do in South Africa. They do integrated farming, where you do cattle, and the other side you grow crops, so that during bad periods you can feed the cattle. So we need those models, but we can talk more about it, so that I don't take too much of time. Era?
I have a son. So I'm really interested on how you raise your son Monty to be.
I'm a sharp. Yeah, force. Well, I have 3 sons and 1 daughter. So it's first parenting is not easy, guys. It's never take it light. But the best lesson for your kids is to do what you say. Do what you say, because part of what Monty does was not what I said, was watching what I was doing. Starting the business, so these are the things that they watch. And the business, going to work, working hard, late nights, preparing presentations, pushing, sharing with them, not isolating them, because sometimes we do that. So whatever you do, engage them, because remember, you are doing succession planning, so that even if later on you move out, they can be able to come in. So that's hugely important. But it's a long story. We can give a talk on it, but I just wanted to say the main thing is that share with them as they ntse ba tla e le bananyana ne ke ba isa ko morakeng ne ba tshamekela ko motlhabeng ko Sanfeld ko bo Monti kwa e sampele malai jana so re nna re ka stona ba nkgele sotelo. They have to feel so that la ba di sala ga ba go ina moraka later on in life they can actually miss the smell of sotelo. Nostalgic. That's what happened to me as well because there's a long time that I didn't farm. I said I'll farm at the right time, but there was a time now I thought I started reminiscing over my grandfather. And actually, because now is my time. Yeah. So there's a bit of a psycho-emotional aspect to this as well. So that's really the short of it. If you want more details, we can talk on the side.
Thunderous round of applause.